What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing Group and the Call Center Geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast. We try to give you some actionable items, take back in your contact center, improve the overall quality, improve the agent experience, hopefully improve the customer experience as well. I guess that's really why we're here. My name is Tom Laird. I'm the CEO here at Expivia Interaction Marketing, Expivia Digital, Auto QA, all of our kind of contact center-centric businesses. But Expivia, for those of you who are new, we're about a 600-700 seat, not huge, but BPO or contact center outsourcer. We also do a lot of consulting with companies that are trying to move to maybe different contact center CcaaS platforms. So that's what I wanted to focus on today. I wanted to talk to you guys about some of, I guess, my favorite or my rankings, which can get extremely controversial. And I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on this, but who do I view as, I don't want to say the best, but have the most robust platforms. So a couple things before I get into that. Number one, a lot of the analysts come out with their reports over the last couple of years, right? You have the Gartner Magic Quadrant, you have the Forrester Wave, you have compasses, and you have wheels, and you have spokes, and you have all these different reports that come out. And some of them I think are close to how I view the market. Not to say how I view it is the end all be all, but some of them are way off, right? I mean, like not even close. Like the providers that they have as kind of the leaders, I would not send to any client ever on a consulting side. And when you peel back the onion on this, the analyst thing is, I think it's kind of broken. Right, all of these, whether you're all of them do it. So the NICEs, the Genesises, the UJets, the 5.9s, the Variant just had their analyst summit. And again, I think that there's the difference between having a conference where you're talking about all your tools, right? And then there's the whole whining and dining of analysts, right? Taking analysts to Portugal I think NICE took theirs to Machu Picchu, over this past year. Right. So you wine them and you dine them. And there's a little bit, in my mind, of a skewing of results because it is a little bit of a pay to play, when it comes to some of this analysts. Now, I'm not saying that they're paying people off. I'm saying the overall industry, this is how most industries are, how analysts do the reports is kind of broken. And I just want to be that, I don't know, the person who's never been wined and dined on any of this stuff, who just sees it all the time, who talks about it in the industry all the time, who I've taken so many different demos with so many different companies that I think I have a really good feel for how the industry is out there, what's going on. And I want to give my unbiased opinion. Now, having said that too, I know some of you guys are going to say, well, I am a NICE customer, right? I do use CX1 in our BPO. So is there some bias there? Maybe, right? I don't think anybody would disagree or say that NICE is not one of the top contenders anyway. Right? I'm not going to rank it like a top 10. I'm going to just kind of talk about, I think leaders and maybe a group of CcaaS providers that are below them, some up and comers that I think I don't know enough about that I think people need to check out and I need to check out as well. That's kind of where my thought process or where I'm coming at this from. Let me also say this: no one that I'm going to talk about here is a poor or a bad company. Like all of these companies, if I'm even talking about you, right, that means you've been doing some really cool things, right? Not every CcaaS provider is for every single customer, right? It's kind of like if you have kids and you want the, like my wife, we've been talking about getting the third row for the SUV, right? So we can, take our kids' friends, right? I'm not buying a BMW sports car, right? And it's the same thing when you talk about contact center and technology providers. You have to find the right fit. And that might mean not that BMW, right? But it might mean an awesome Ford. I want to just say that too. I'm not putting down any provider. I think they're just different use cases and different specialties for different companies. So let me get into this now. And I don't think that if you look at any analyst report and they don't have NICE and Genesys, and I believe now Five9 as well, in that kind of total leader category, we might disagree on who's 1, 2, or 3, but I don't think it's even close, in my opinion, right? That those guys aren't, 1, 2, or 3. So I would say that it is the NICE, Genesys, and Five9 in really no particular order. Those are the BMWs. Those are the enterprise guys. Those are have every bell and whistle, most of the tools. NICE, I love because one of the things they have is I think they have leading technology, and now everything is native to the platform. So they used to be in Contact and there used to be NICE, right? They came together when in Contact says, hey, we have this really good cloud ACD, but NICE has really all of these WFM and analytics and all these unbelievable tools. But NICE says, yeah, we have all these tools. We don't really have an ACD, but we're prem-based. So they joined together to take the best of both companies. And now most of all of the on-prem solutions have been migrated onto the platform in CXone and are now in the cloud. So that makes things really easy from an integration standpoint. Everything is there now. Are they a little bit more expensive? Yeah, I think they are, compared to a lot of the other. But I think, again, you get a lot with it. Genesys and Five9 have been kind of going tooth and neck. Genesys has made great strides. I mean, they're if you looked at, say 7, 8, 9 years ago, we weren't even talking about them, right? They're on cloud, or they're non-on-prem, right? So their cloud solution has really done really cool things. And I think, even now what they're doing with some of the AI things is really cool. Five9 has kind of always been there. And they're kind of been, I don't want to say steady Eddie, but they've been up and down. And I think they're up now. If you look at most of these guys, they have some type of AI integration. They're doing some type of back-end AI. They also allow you to integrate with any other AI tool very easily. And obviously, any other integrations into, CRMs, proprietary systems, banking cores, all that stuff is pretty much native. And all that stuff has been built out in those platforms. So for me, I have an enterprise customer, they have maybe a couple hundred seats down to 50 seats, down to 30 seats, but they need specialty things. They want analytics. They want workforce management. They have, specific integrations into, like I said, cores, proprietary CRMs, those kind of things. Those are who I'm bringing to demo with those customers. Now, the next level, I think, gets interesting. Right? Because the next level has some amazing, and I think the theme of it is everybody has a really great ACD, right? So meaning just the basic format, right? How to route calls, skills-based routing, all of that from a ease of use, everyone has kind of figured out. I don't think that there's a lot of differentiation in the space when it comes to everyone's ACD. How you differentiate is the ancillary tools that they have or that they're selling. So, when we talk about that next level, I think you really look at things like Amazon Connect. And let me just pull up my notes here. I want to make sure that I don't say anything wrong. Right, Amazon Connect. I think I have jaded feelings, I think, on Amazon Connect, because if Amazon really wanted to take this thing over, they could have. And I know a lot of people disagree on this, but it just seems like they're putting their toe in. They're trying to do what they can, but it's not great, right? The user experience is what really struggles with them. The reporting dashboards, like all that stuff, you almost have to bring in a third party to get basic, dashboards and reporting. Now they're super cheap and they're kind of on a pay to play. So if you have and that might be their model too, right? If you have a really high end, robust kind of telephony team and you can create a bunch of the stuff, you can probably save a ton of money. But for most people moving in the CcaaS world, they want to have that stuff already. TalkDesk is another company that I think was, if you would have talked to me 3 or 4 years ago, they would have probably been in that upper echelon. I think that their user experience is probably the best of anyone that I've seen. Their ease of use of being able to have non-IT people kind of do the platform and utilize the platform is amazing. But again, they kind of drop off again when it comes to a lot of the tools that they don't have that those top 3 guys do. And I think one that's coming in really hard is Zoom and their contact center. I think that is going to be something that they're really making a push to be one of the top tier CcaaS providers. There's somebody I think I'm extremely interested in seeing more of. I think it was Zoomtopia. I watched a lot of different videos from there as well. I've never demoed the product live. I've just seen a bunch of demos online, and I think that talking to a lot of friends that I trust and respect, they're very high on their platform. So that's something that I'd like to see kind of as we're moving. Something that I didn't have. I did talk about this in a LinkedIn post the other day, and that's kind of what's kind of sparked this episode. But Ring Central CX, right, where they're looking at a fully kind of AI contact center is something to be looked at. I think that's really super early into the discussion. So they say they have a lot of things, right? I want to see if they really do have those things. What does their analytics look like? What does their generative chatbot system seem look like? What do you need to integrate with it? I don't know enough about it yet, but I think that is something to kind of take a peek at and think through, as they went from basically a white labeled CX1 product to now, kind of moving out onto their own, which I think is something kind of interesting that how they kind of built their model. They were, one of the first kind of UCaaS providers, and then kind of how this thing has really evolved is kind of interesting. I keep calling them up and comers, but they've been around for a while now, and I think there's some really good use cases for them. But UJet and Dialpad have been making some inroads in some waves as well. They're a little bit newer, than kind of those legacy. It's funny how you call 10-year-old companies now legacy companies, but I think this space has been moving so quickly. But there's specific companies that I would bring, UJet, especially a Dialpad too. There's some really interesting things that I think that those guys are doing. Been very forward thinking. The technology is there. Here's what I get worried about with a lot of the newer guys. And I don't think that this gets talked enough about, but we talk about back-end infrastructure. We talk about, being on AWS. We talk about, the uptimes of some of these providers. And, I know things have really advanced in the last even 5 to 6 years, but I know how in contact, because we've been a very long customer with them, the pain points that they went through when they were growing and scaling, and how they did go down a lot. Now, I have not been down in probably, I'm knocking on wood, the last 2 to 3 years, like literally never been down, right? So NICE and CX1, I mean, they've really figured that out. Those are things, those growing pains, right? That I worry about, again, with younger companies. Again, maybe, we've moved past that with everyone. I don't know if we have, but those are some things, again, that I really think about when talking with clients that are looking to outsource is how important are those types through, where is a company in their kind of the structure of their build, and the scaling of the company. And how well funded are they, right? There's been a lot of companies that have struggled on the funding side. So then, they don't roll out with, updates as quickly as they possibly should. Those are other things to kind of look through and look at as you look at, companies that are almost begging for money at certain points, which, a couple of these guys have done. I think everybody's kind of gotten through that for the most part, but let's talk about then the two companies that, again, Vonage like Ring Central used to basically white label CX1. They have really their own kind of product now. I've not seen enough of it. I've heard pretty good things. I'm a Telarus guy, so I get and talk to a lot of the people at Telarus who have told me to bring Vonage in to more deals than I probably have. So that's a company that I need to look deeper at, harder at. I don't have a really good opinion, positive or negative there, just to know that they've been trying to do some really cool things. And another company, and I believe that they are a European company that is coming now over to the States, which is Content Guru. This is one that every analyst report, they were there. So, which means that they probably had some money to give to get there, which is saying something, right? Especially for someone that I've never heard of, which it almost surprises me that there are some things like in this space that I haven't heard of from talking about kind of the larger players. But I've never seen a demo. That it's something that I need to reach out to those guys. I want to see more, see what they have to offer. I've not even really heard anybody utilizing them. But again, I think that they're making a strong push to come here into the States, and I'd love to see what they have. So those are kind of my what did I say, like 8 or 9 companies that, again, I would feel pretty comfortable talking through, other than, again, Content Guru, Vonage, like where I don't know enough, but those 6 or 7 that we talked about from kind of the BMWs to, the really, really good companies. Maybe, if you don't need, I don't need analytics, Tom. I'm a 20-seat center. I'm a 25-seat center. I'm a 40-seat center. I don't really need workforce management. We have that already taken care of. I don't really need, analytics. All I need is a really good ACD. I need multi-channel or omni-channel and maybe a QA platform. Then you don't have to go to the most expensive deal, right? You can utilize, because these providers are really, really good, and you're not paying for all the bells and whistles then. But if you want all the bells and whistles, it's there too, right? I want workforce management, analytics, agent assist, real-time analytics, advanced report. Like, I need everything. That's there too. And you're going to pay a little bit more, but the products that you're going to get are going to be there. So again, it's not a one size fit all. And I think a lot of companies are trying to differentiate themselves that way, making sure that, they're not competing maybe with the Nices and the Genesis and the 5.9s. And they want to kind of go their route with a smaller enterprise type customer, or somebody that, has a bunch of tools already that they don't want to give up, but they just want to, have them slapped onto the ACD, those kind of things. There's a place for that. Let me throw this at you guys too. And I'm going to pull this up from my LinkedIn, because this shocked the living heck out of me yesterday when I posted this. And my friend Eric Krause sent me the T-Tech investor or analyst report for third quarter, or their earnings report. I'm sorry, not their analyst, from their earnings call. 2 things absolutely stuck out to me is, number one, they said, and this is speaking of AI, most companies are not ready for AI. Most implementations primarily have been pilots. Many clients are seeing the benefits. However, they lack the technology infrastructure, data readiness, and the confidence that these initiatives can scale in a cost-effective and reliable manner. I've been saying that from the door. If you take the end of 2023, take the beginning of 2024, you have to prepare yourself for AI. You can't just go buy a solution, slap it on. Number one, you have to have a robust KMS platform that is set up and ready to go. Right? You have to have access to your data in a format that can be utilized. Right? So currently, it's some platforms will allow you to use voice, but for the most part, it's call transcripts. You need to have transcripts. And the third is as many integrations into your data as humanly possible. Right? Those are the 3 kind of first things you need to do before you even think about AI. And people aren't even talking about that. It's to a detriment. Vendors aren't saying that more. They're basically just saying, hey, buy our stuff and we'll figure it out with you. But start to think about that. Data readiness, right? Access to data is everything. Right? And you have to make sure that your data, your integrations, and also your access to this information is readily available. This is the one that absolutely blew me away. And T-Tech says the findings of our recent AI benchmark study reflect the current limited state of market and client readiness. For example, one, for businesses to unlock the full benefit of AI, they must move to the cloud. However, almost half of the respondents to our study expressed concern about their technology platform readiness, and only a small fraction are operating at a scale in the cloud. Right? So a lot of you think my technology, we're so technologically non-advanced, we're behind. If you're in the cloud, you're probably way ahead of the game, right? So if you're still on-prem, don't even think about AI. Like you have to move to such a different level to get to that point. And I think that's a real holdback. And I guess I did not realize that there's still a vast community of people out there that are still operating on-prem that have not moved to the cloud. And I guess it makes sense to me. Now that when you really think about it, it's just like, and I guess at least in my world, working with auto QA, so many organizations. Like I had no idea there were so many that are still using Excel spreadsheets for quality assurance. And there's an opportunity there to help those companies out to get on kind of this technological bandwagon. But yeah, I think that really stood out to me, in that T-Tech call to say, hey, most clients, they're not data ready. And to be honest, they're not even in the cloud, right? Which again, totally blew me away. So, all right, guys, that's what I got. I think, again, this is for, I would say, the end of 2023, first and second quarter of 2024. If you're listening, that's probably when this is all viable. Things are going to change so fast that it's going to take until, or just until, spring of next year. And, we'd have to relook at all of this stuff again with all the technology that's coming out and where things are moving. I think it's almost at a quarter by quarter, how quickly things are moving. So I hope that this helps you. I hope that this kind of, lets you think about, hey, not everyone, it's not a one size fits all. And also, if you need any help with any of this stuff, if you need any help with finding a provider, please, DM me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to help. I don't charge anything for it. In full transparency, we get paid on the back end by the providers, whoever you choose. Everybody's about the same. So whatever consultant you use, everybody's pretty much agnostic. They just want to find, I'm sure there's a little bit of shady things go on out there, but for the most part, for anyone that I've talked to, they just want to put you in the right platform for your company, make you a long-term customer. And that's kind of what I would love to do for you too, if there's anyone that has any needs. So again, thank you guys very much. I will talk to you next week. I'm going to try to do one episode before Thanksgiving. So probably next Wednesday, and maybe do some kind of special episode with that as well. So thanks guys. And I will talk to everybody next week.